Savanthia, next to me is Des, and we're not quite bringing you a stranger than fiction story, but a stranger than fiction person.
Absolutely.
And this is something we will do from time to time, and today we've decided to focus on a self-appointed supreme leader of planet Earth.
Well, it looks like he thinks he's a supreme leader of some sort.
None other than Klaus Schwab, or as we now know,
In Afrikaans, Klaus Schwab.
Klaus Martin Schwab. He is a German engineer, economist, and founder of the World Economic Forum. He has acted as the WEF's chairman since founding the organization in 1971, which is the year you were born.
The year I was born,
Yes.
which means that he's been at it for
Very long.
50 plus years.
Yep. Schwab was born to Eugene Wilhelm Schwab and Erika Epprecht in Ravensburg. His parents had moved from Switzerland to Germany during the Third Reich in order for his father to assume the role of director at Escher Weiss AG, an industrial company and contractor for the then Nazi Germany.
Woo-ha.
Schwab's family was monitored by the Gestapo, which in 1944 also interrogated his mother, who was from Zurich, for speaking with the Swiss accent in public. Schwab was raised Catholic. He is a citizen of Germany, although he has 3 Swiss grandparents and 2 Swiss brothers.
They're really trying to remove him in what you're reading now from Germany, like you cannot believe.
Absolutely.
It's like they're trying to distance this guy so far from the Reich.
It's all very ironic.
Yeah, very.
Schwab has been married since 1971 to Hilda Schwab, a former assistant of his. The wedding took place in Surtok Valley at a Reformed church. The couple live in Cologne in Switzerland. The Schwabs have 2 adult children, Nicole and Olivia. And Nicole Schwab co-founded the Gender Equality Project, which is a project I think we would find very interesting.
Of course, yes.
Influencing many facets of society.
They're trying to make them out to be Christian by the looks of it.
Christian, normal,
Ordinary people. Yes. Fascinating.
It is fascinating, and I think the Nazi roots are not to be ignored, because Nazism is founded on eugenics, and from what I see in the United Nations agenda, eugenics does seem to be at the forefront. And then when you look at what UNESCO has done with comprehensive sexuality education, with the founders of the organizations that spearheaded comprehensive sexuality education, eugenics again takes center stage. And that is quite an in-depth topic we could cover one day. But with the leader of the World Economic Forum, which is literally influencing government policy and decisions, and
he openly says that that is what the World Economic Forum is supposed to do, is influence government leaders, create future world leaders, openly.
Yeah. So how much does he align with his father's business interests of the past?
Well,
I mean,
that is actually fascinating, and maybe we'll do a Stranger Than Fiction a video on Klaus Schwab's dad's history, especially with nuclear and South Africa.
So he attended school in Switzerland. After World War II, the family moved back to Germany, and then he attended school in Germany. He graduated as a mechanical engineer from Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich, which awarded him a doctorate in engineering entitled, I'm not going to try pronounce that. That's German. He was also awarded a doctorate in economics from the University of Freiburg, and a Master of Public Administration degree from the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University.
Fascinating.
Interesting, because I actually, I'm not going to compare our qualifications here, but I did study public administration with UCT as a short course, and I must say that...
but that was linked to Oxford, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I must say, this makes sure that his mentality, if there's any similarities between public administration with the 2 different educational institutions, that you legislate everything. If you want a solution to a problem, the mentality is to legislate that solution, as opposed to fixing humanity in more creative ways that allow people to still have their freedom. And that's what frustrated me so much. So it's just interesting to see, I think, where his mind is at, what his ideology is, but also his personality in a way, which doesn't seem to come through very clearly.
Even the media seems to struggle with Klaus Schwab's personality. It's almost like you need to report on the World Economic Forum because it's the beginning of the year and they are meeting in Davos, Switzerland, and all the important people are there in their private jets, hundreds of private jets. The earth is not heating up because of the fumes they emit.
Well, yes, there's a few interesting things we can talk about from some other website links. That just, he definitely comes across as someone that's trying to solve all the world's problems. The difference is he believes certain things are problems that maybe other people don't agree with. Like, how do I not get censored here?
I think he has a problem with humans, period. I think he has a problem with the fact that humans even live on the planet.
So, let's continue here.
What does he want to reset? Us. Not some computer.
But isn't it like Noah's Ark? With the rain, the floods, there was a little bit of a reset. So, like, this is his great reset.
He's reset. And he wants to do it before he dies. He's running out of time, people. The man's getting desperate.
Okay, but his career. Schwab was a professor of business policy at the University of Geneva from 1972 to 2003, and since then...
For students, that's a long time.
And since
That's
then, he has
30 years.
been an honorary professor there. Since 1979, he published the Global Competitiveness Report, an annual report assessing the potential for increasing productivity and economic growth of countries around the world, written by a team of economists.
How does that tie into him wanting to save the environment and all these things?
Well,
they don't actually want to.
No.
They just want to control what the plebs do. That is how I see it.
I think just that, the fact that his intention is to increase productivity.
He wants to fly in his private jet. He doesn't want us to fly as a passenger in a jet. That's the difference. It's not rocket science. It's really simple.
He's also co-authored several books. Some consider him to be an evangelist for stakeholder capitalism. It's a good description. The Fourth Industrial Revolution, the subject of a 2016 book he wrote, is another of ideas he has popularized. In January 2017, Stephen Poole in The Guardian criticized Schwab's Fourth Industrial Revolution book, pointing out that the Internet of Things would probably be hackable. He also criticized Schwab for showing that future technologies may be used for good or evil, but not taking a position on the issues, instead offering only vague policy recommendations. The Financial Times innovation editor found the clanking lifelessness of the prose led him to suspect this book really was written by humans, ones who inhabit a strange twilight world of stakeholders, externalities, inflection points, and developatory sandboxes.
Well, if you actually look at Klaus Schwab as a person and the other organizations he's involved in, we're not going to discuss that now, then you will know that there are ulterior motives with the books that he writes. I think it represents people far more influential than him, and he is trying to get himself a senior role within this elite group of people, and he wants to be remembered for these changes he makes. And the Fourth Industrial Revolution is a concept he came up with. It didn't exist anywhere. And then he pushes it, and governments start to say things like, it is happening, we can't stop it, we need to implement it in our schools,
That's what frustrates
in our
me the
education
most.
system.
Yes, people say we can't stop it, it's inevitable.
It's inevitable.
We must train our
Like
children.
we are a bunch of useless idiots, you know,
Yeah.
that can't make decisions in our lives.
Yeah.
So this is what I have a problem with, and he absolutely has a right to promote his ideas. He has a right to do that.
What fascinates
And
me
we have a right to do the same.
is how much traction it gets compared to lots of other things out there.
Yes, well, once again, if you understand the people that he surrounds himself with and the power that gives him, he is able to get mainstream media and governments, etc., to give him what he wants, because he has created the leaders that are running most countries, that are sitting in presidencies, that are sitting in cabinets around the world.
Again, that is Nazi tactic.
Of course.
Hitler said, "Give me the youth, and I'll have the future." And is that not what has happened?
Young global leaders
with
program.
all these youth programs?
Yeah, it's copy paste, and people that don't see this are blind. And hopefully, by watching this video and sharing this video, you will be able to see and understand this. And this is why we want you to share this content.
We're not done yet, though.
No, we're not done. But we want you to share this content with other people so that they can just apply their minds, open their minds to the thoughts we put out there. Because Klaus Schwab is a stranger than fiction character. The fact that he has this power without any people electing him shows you that there is a power system in place in the world that does not consider the people on the ground at all. Makes them totally irrelevant, which means that democracies don't exist.
Nope. Didn't we say that in the last video?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did indeed. So a political scientist...
So you're only getting started.
I'm only getting started. A political
Sit
scientist...
back, people, get the popcorn.
Yes, the political scientist Klaus Geisen has argued that the dominant ideology of the Fourth Industrial Revolution is transhumanism. And that doesn't have to be an argument. It is clear that that's where it will lead.
Yeah, Klaus loves this idea.
Yeah, so what does transhumanism mean to you?
To me?
Yeah.
Well, it's quite simply an ideal that these people have where they can literally link machine to biological flesh, mind, soul, spirit, etc.
Except they don't believe in souls. We're just a biological composite.
I don't know what Klaus Schwab actually believes with regards to that because I haven't asked him the specific question myself.
Well, we know his chief advisor does not believe in
Yes,
souls.
his chief advisor, but I mean, I don't know about Klaus Schwab himself. So it would be interesting, you know, this portrayal of him as a family man, as a Christian, in other words, as someone believing in a God. I don't know if he still believes that. I have no idea. He doesn't speak about his beliefs. If you actually look at all the things he's trying to do, it seems very un-Christian. And I mean, this is not about any specific religion. This is a topic of the person that we are discussing today, Klaus Schwab. And
transhumanism itself is achieving immortality without any need of a higher power.
Well, he believes that that is marvelous, and once again it makes me think of Adam Weishaupt and the Bavarian Illuminati plan to create this I almost want to say dystopian future, but as they call it, it is a perfection of humanity. In other words, creating perfect humans. They don't make mistakes, they don't hurt other people, you eat perfect food, you live in perfect cities, you live in perfect homes. They don't ever speak about family. It's like family is not a part of the equation. So Klaus Schwab is perfectly actually implementing the Bavarian Illuminati plan. I mean, I don't see any deviation, in fact.
Scary stuff. So the World Economic Forum, we're discussing his career. So they spoke about his career as a professor, then as an author, now as the founder of the World Economic Forum. So in 1971, that's the same year he got married, Schwab founded the European Management Forum, which was renamed to the WEF in 1987. In 1971, he also published Modern Enterprise Management in Mechanical Engineering. In that book, he argued that the management of a modern enterprise must serve both shareholders and corporate stakeholders to achieve long-term growth and prosperity. Schwab has championed the multi-stakeholder concept since the WEF's inception. In 2003, Schwab appointed Jose Maria Figueres as CEO of the WEF, his intended successor.
They didn't work out well.
And in October 2004, Figueres resigned over his undeclared receipt of more than $900,000 in consultancy fees from the French telecommunications firm Alcatel while he was working at the forum. In 2006, Transparency International highlighted this incident in their Global Corruption Report. In 2015, the WEF was formally recognized by the Swiss government as an international body.
Not just a lobby group or an idea group or anything like that, But it's interesting that the Swiss government does this. The Swiss government has always claimed to be neutral in all things. They don't pick sides in wars, etc. But they have a formidable military. Per capita is probably one of the best in the world. And they have got dugouts for war, make no mistake. So the fact that the World Economic Forum takes place in Davos, Switzerland, I think is quite significant, because it's a place Switzerland has given them to have these meetings. And a lot of people travel there to protest vehemently against the forum's meeting.
Well, let's discuss the criticism. The salary level and lack of financial transparency. While Schwab declared that excessively high management salaries were no longer socially acceptable, his own annual salary of about 1 million Swiss francs, which is a little more than $1 million US, has been repeatedly questioned by the media. The Swiss Radio and Television Corporation, SRF, mentioned this salary level in the context of ongoing public contributions to the WEF and the fact that the forum does not pay any federal taxes. Moreover, the former journalist Jürgen Dunsch made the criticism that the WEF's financial reports were not very transparent, since neither income nor expenditure were broken down. Schwab has also drawn ire for mixing the finances of the not-for-profit WEF and other for-profit business ventures. For example, the WEF awarded a multi-million-dollar contract to US Web in 1998, yet shortly after the deal went through, Mr. Schwab took a board seat at the same company, reaping valuable stock options. So obviously with international bodies, there doesn't seem to be any international body regulators.
No, there's none. They can do what they want. They literally get the freedom to do whatever, and especially in Switzerland.
Yeah.
They don't have to pay tax there, as you mentioned. There's no real regulation or control. And Switzerland is certainly a place where people can stash money.
Capture of democratic structures and institutions.
Okay, yeah, we're getting to the crux now.
According to the Transnational Institute, the forum is planning to replace a recognized democratic model with a model where a self-selected group of stakeholders make decisions on behalf of the people. Now, I know many people that have recommended this as a better form of government, and it's something that we should be very wary of as a model of governance in general. The think tank summarizes that we are increasingly entering a world where gatherings such as Davos are a silent global coup d'etat to capture governance. In a 2017 interview, Schwab said that Russian President Vladimir Putin has been recognized as a young global leader, and also mentioned Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. I have to say, when I mention now names like Mrs. Angela Merkel and even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. But what we are very proud of now is the young generation like Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. We penetrate the cabinet. So yesterday I was at the reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of his cabinet, or even more than half of his cabinet, are actually young global leaders.
I've captured Canada. Hey, it's
Wonderful.
my country. Thank you
I
very
must give him credit for the ingenuity.
Well, he has the right, once again, to do this, and we have a right to speak about it and give our opinion on it. So I do laud him for actually doing something about what he believes. And the fact that I don't agree with him means that I need to work hard.
We need to create our own Young Leaders program.
And counter what he's doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Controversy with Davos municipality. In June 2021, Schwab sharply criticized the profiteering, complacency, and lack of commitment by the municipality of Davos in relation to the WEF annual meeting. He mentioned that the preparation of the COVID-related meeting in Singapore in 2021-2022 had created an alternative to its Swiss host, and sees the chance that the annual meeting will stay in Davos between 40 and 70%. Okay, so
those are interesting numbers.
Random, yeah. And
Very
he
random.
also received a bunch of awards and honors. So he has been conferred.
So people suck up to him like
Very
big
much
time.
so.
Yes.
He's been conferred with the French Legion of Honor, which is a knight distinction, the Grand Cross with the Star of the National Order of Germany, and the Japanese Grand Cordon of the Order of the Rising Sun. He was also awarded the Dan David Prize, and he was knighted by Queen Elizabeth as Knight Commander of the Order of St. Michael and St. George. Schwab has been the recipient of multiple honorary doctorates from institutions including the London School of Economics, the National University of Singapore, and the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. Okay, so he's obviously very influential. A lot of people recognize him.
Hey,
Maybe admire him.
he's a member of FC Bayern Munich, which is a football club. Like an honorary member. So you can just walk in and watch matches. Just as a funny side note, yes.
That is a funny side note. Okay, so on the United Nations website,
He
they
looks
say...
retarded to me.
That is a rude thing to say.
I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter how much you dislike the person. I don't say such things. Officially scolded.
Officially scolded, I will...
You can edit that out.
No. we can't edit out such things.
Okay. So the UN says pretty much the same stuff I've just read, but yeah, is a bit more specification. In 1998, with his wife Hilda, he created the Schwab Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship, which seeks to identify, recognize, and disseminate initiatives in social entrepreneurship that have significantly improved people's lives and have the potential to be replicated on a global scale. The foundation supports a network of over 350 social entrepreneurs around the world.
So this is the United Nations website.
Speaking about
with the
Klaus.
Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes, indeed. In 2004, with the financial contribution received as part of the Dan David Prize, he established a new foundation, the Forum of Young Global Leaders for Leaders Under 40. 7 years later, in 2011, he created the Global Shapers Community for potential leaders between the ages of 20 and 30. The purpose of the two foundations is to integrate young people as a strong voice for the future into global decision-making processes and to encourage their engagement in concrete projects that address social problems. I think that...
this is not even... hidden.
That thought needs to go hand in hand with the fact that democracy is going to disappear and
absolutely
be replaced.
No democracy with us. I mean, these people are pre-programmed.
Yes. Schwab has encouraged the establishment of communities providing global expertise and knowledge for problem solving. And this is what a lot of these global philanthropists love doing, problem solving. But we don't always agree on what the problems are. And there is no democracy that they regard. So they decide the problems and they decide the solutions.
Often, I dare say, create the problems and then provide the solutions.
It's very profitable.
A lot of financial benefit
Yes.
to doing that.
Yes, indeed.
Among them is the network of global future councils, the world's foremost interdisciplinary knowledge network dedicated to promoting innovative thinking on the future.
That should terrify you.
Absolutely horrific. Global Future Councils.
Yes, indeed. The forum employs over 700 people with its headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland, and additional 5 offices in New York, San Francisco, Beijing, and Tokyo. So his latest books are The Fourth Industrial Revolution. Please comment in the comment box below if you have read that book or any of his other books and let us know what you think.
And if you haven't, maybe you should.
Give us a quick review.
Yes.
A worldwide bestseller translated into 30 languages and Shaping the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So he made The Fourth Industrial Revolution in 2016 and then Shaping the Fourth Industrial Revolution in 2018. And I think those are must reads. And
then the COVID pandemic arrives.
The Great Reset, yes.
The Great Reset.
And then they speak about his honors again, but we won't go into that again because that doesn't matter.
But this is the United Nations literally singing his praises.
That is, of course, yes.
Yeah.
He has a profile on the United Nations. So here we go. Now we're going to vanityfair.com, random. There were quite a lot of magazine articles on Klaus Schwab. And some of them sounded very disjointed and disconnected. And this one seemed the most interesting. The headline is, he has an incredible knack to smell the next fad. How Klaus Schwab built a billionaire circus at Davos.
Can I just add to this?
Yes, sure.
He doesn't have a knack to smell the next fad. He creates the next fad. He is the next fad. And he just gets all his little cronies together that suck up to him to then promote the next fad. That is all I see.
But I love this description.
Yeah, it's a circus. Billionaire circus.
This description. The uber-rich flock annually to the World Economic Forum where they can schmooze and strike deals under the guise of saving the world.
I love that.
A new book reveals how its founder benefits from this gathering. of the global elite. So I just love the language in the specific article, which is why I chose this one. This is going to be a long video. This has been a long video, and it will continue to be a long video, but it won't be as long as our waffle session, which was 6 hours long.
6 hours,
This
5.5
won't be
hours. It won't be that long. Okay. You've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Yes, I have. Klaus Schwab, the ringmaster of festivities at the World Economic Forum in Davos, has been known to tell underlings that he anticipates one day receiving a Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, shame.
In a surprise to no one else, Oslo has yet to ring.
Oh,
Do you feel a little bit of pity?
the poor man. He's trying his best.
You're trying too hard, maybe.
I don't know. Tell us why you think Klaus Schwab hasn't had the phone call from Oslo yet.
And what do you think of Nobel Peace Prizes in general? Does it mean anything to you?
Not
Do you
Nobel, Nobel.
Nobel. For the Nobel. Do you think that means anything today? Do you think it's just a shallow award, or do you think it's important that humanitarians and people that have achieved great things are actually recognized? Let us know in the comments. I am 50-50 on that one. Schwab's greatest accomplishment is decidedly entrepreneurial. He has developed the forum from an earnest meeting of policy wonks into a glittering assembly of the world's richest people. He has achieved this by ingratiating himself with those who wield power, and especially the billionaire class, a tribe known as Davos Man. Schwab has constructed a refuge for the outlandishly wealthy, an exclusive zone where they are free to pursue deals and sundry shenanigans while enjoying the cover of participating in a virtuous undertaking. Their mere presence in Davos at the forum signals their empathy and sensitivity
As they land with their private jets.
in the prevailing pantomime Davos Man, and there's a book called Davos Man, How the Billionaires Devoured the World. So obviously this is not a pro-Davos article. In the prevailing pantomime, Davos Man is intent on channeling his intellect and compassion towards solving the great crises of the age. He might have retreated to his mountaintop palace in Jackson Hole or his yacht moored off Mykonos, but he is too obsessed with rescuing the poor and sparing humanity from the ravages of climate change, so he is in Davos, paying fees reaching several $100,000s a year for a forum membership, plus tens of thousands more per head to attend the meeting, posing for photos with Bono, congratulating Bill Gates on his philanthropic exploits, tweeting out inspirational quotes from Deepak Chopra, and still finding the time to buttonhole that sovereign wealth chieftain from Abu Dhabi in pursuit of investment for his luxury goods mall in Singapore. What a well-written piece of writing.
You want to meet this writer?
Maybe. But I think what's interesting to me is that the way the writer paints the picture of Davos is...
It's also the writer of the book, Peter S. Goodman. Yeah.
To me, this sounds like a pyramid scheme. You know, these massive pyramid schemes with these charismatic CEOs that tell you in a few years you can own this awesome car and reach the top. It seems very pyramid schemish to me. What do you think?
Well, it could all collapse very quickly, and people could see the next fad or the next place where they could come together. I mean, if you look at the Bohemian Grove in the US, it's a place where world elites come together. Davos is getting all the attention, so that's where people want to be. And you need to ask yourself, why is it getting so much attention when they didn't get that kind of media attention in the past at all? Why now? You know, when he wrote The Great Reset, I think he did a great favor to many of the real elites that wield real power in the world. He did them a great favor, and he was actually busy implementing their plan, not just his plan. So I don't think Klaus is completely of his own mind. I think he's influenced by many people, far more influential than he is. So a world leader he certainly is not. He would like to be, and he would like their favor, and he's trying his damnedest, and that Nobel Peace Prize just hasn't come yet.
Not yet. So it's an interesting one. I guess it's for people that want power, it's easy to say, oh, but I'm trying to help people.
Very easy.
Very easy to say that. And yet still control every facet of their existence. As a spokesperson, him being a spokesperson for the fourth industrial revolution, I feel like that means he's a spokesperson for taking away all humanity.
He's never said the words, love each other more, become more self-reliant, plant your own food, hold your governments accountable. No. In fact, he doesn't even want to speak to you. In his meetings, he openly states that the people sitting there are the people that will make decisions for the people out there in the world.
Well, we're just not clever enough to
No,
make our
no,
own
we're
decisions.
absolutely way too dumb. Yes.
We can't make our own decisions.
No.
We're stupid.
I wonder what the average IQ at Davos is.
Honestly, I don't think it's very high after some of the speeches I watched. We can just dissect that one day.
Yeah, that'll be fascinating.
It would be.
Absolutely shocking, especially Tony Blair with his waffle.
Yes, because remember, all these people that went through the Young Leaders programs, people who are currently in leadership positions, have to have quite a inclination towards being indoctrinated.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they can't think for themselves. And that is quite sad. It's very important that people are able to make up their own minds. Even when you watch this video listening to us, you need to take the information and do something yourself with that information and empower yourself.
So that is all we have today on Klaus Schwab, the founder, leader of the World Economic Forum, who is forerunning the entire Fourth Industrial Revolution transhumanism movement, which governments seem to be falling for.
Well, our government in South Africa falls for a hook, line and sinker. They can't make up their minds about when to go to bed or how
our kids aren't
eat.
Reading in matric, but they want to teach our 3-year-olds programming.
Yes.
So that we can fit into the Fourth Industrial Revolution.
Yes. And Mandarin. Yeah.
Yes. So
because maybe the Chinese are better at these things.
I just think that people with ideas and people that believe in certain principles need to be as vocal and as bold as people such as Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and the rest.
Speak out. Speak your thoughts. Tell other people around you how you feel and promote your thoughts and feelings. If you keep it to yourself, people like Klaus Schwab will become a spokesperson for everybody and he will absolutely love it. I think he loves the attention that he's got. But I understand now, there's that sad look. I can never understand why. It's that Nobel Peace Prize, and I don't know if it's the money or the accolades that it'll be getting. But certainly I can see there's that
I'd
one
love
thing that's missing.
I'd love to do a profile on all these influential global people and actually analyze their childhoods. Not that there's much on his childhood, but I think that would tell a lot about people's desires for the future and for their future and for the world's future.
Absolutely. And we've just entered another waffle-a-thon.
We have, but I just wanted to end saying, you can also end with your thought, but I keep, for the past, I don't know how long, I keep calling him Karl Schwab. And I think we should do a similar feature on Karl Marx.
Karl Marx, okay.
Yes, because I think I'm getting good.
Tell us in the comments if you want us to do the same to you with Karl Marx.
Yes, and do you like these little insights into people's profiles? Would you like us to continue on this? We might do Karl Marx next, or if you want us to do someone specific, let us know in the comments, and then we will look into it.
Thank you very much for watching, and please remember to share this with your friends and family.